There we go. Wonderful. Okay. Now I think we can get started. So I was going to allow you guys to go ahead and give us those updates. By the way, how's Puerto Rico? How's it going out there?
Rico is beautiful. Wish everyone was here. We're now back in San Juan, so we're back in the capital. We were in Orocovis last night, and Tony and Dr. Allison were in Orocovis the night before, which is in the center of the island, a more isolated and secluded location. Still beautiful, but we were struggling with Wi-Fi connection, which is why we couldn't the AMA yesterday. We literally, Dr. Thompson and Tony had been off the grid for like 2 days. So now we're back here in San Juan, so we can update. And we're glad to see everybody. And we have so much wonderful information. We only have about 30 minutes left, and Dr. Allison Thompson has some other obligations. She's going to go live another community tonight. And we also have a crypto meetup at 6, but we still wanted to get this in to share all of the information. So.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Well, if you want to go ahead and start kind of give us an up about the progress in Puerto Rico on that project, as well as KWHCoin, and then maybe touch base on the newest news for the exchange. We have some questions that we can get into after that, so I'll let you take it over from there.
Well, what I'll do is we released some articles over Medium last week talking about KWHCoin and how we've evolved as a company and how we've evolved as a cryptocurrency with our application. So I just wanted to quickly go through a couple of those, just the 3 projects that we're working on. Tony is going to talk very directly about what we're doing in Puerto Rico, just because I want everyone to see how unique the project is and how unique our energy solution is, combining blockchain technology and cryptocurrency with social impact and this ecosystem. And then I'll let Dr. Allison Thompson talk a bit about Third Wave and the KWHCoin connection and what her organization is doing and what we're doing on a more broad level to help Puerto Rico, the Caribbean, and other areas as far as our efforts. So Sierra Leone, that's the first partnership we'll talk about with Television. This is very exciting for us because this will be the first time that KWHCoin is actually going to be an exclusive payment method. So for our token holders and for everyone else in the cryptocurrency world who truly understand what valuation is, the valuation of a cryptocurrency is essentially backed by its underlying asset value and its ability to have usability or adaptability with an ecosystem. The KWHCoin very clear advantage is now with partnerships with Television, which is 6,000 homes that are already a part of this solar powered system, but it's going to expand to over 50,000 by the end of the year. And Sierra Leone has a population of 7.7 million. About 80% of that is off grid. So our plan is to roll that out into the entire country with Al, CEO, and Television. That's the essence of our partnership. So our community needs to know that the utility of the KWHCoin token is in relation to this very specific project. It is the payment method, and the token will be used for direct peer-to-peer exchanges and also for the services that we're going to be providing. Here a lot. Obviously, we're in the blockchain space, in the cryptocurrency space. So it's very important for our community members, but for the blockchain and cryptocurrency space as a whole to understand what makes a cryptocurrency so valuable is that it's going to actually have a usage mechanism in an ecosystem. So this is why we're so excited about the partnership with Television in Sierra Leone, because the KWHCoin can be used to buy energy in its purest form, just as our white paper outlined, just as our platform dictates. And now you're going to see our application and our app that we're developing have an ecosystem with very clear progress. The second project I want to talk about is in Kenya with Nurses in Hand. Just to give a very quick overview, Nurses in Hand delivers emergency management services, post-crash services, for the Kenyan roadway network system. The project that we're going to be integrating in is going to start at Mombasa at the port in Kenya and connect over 800 miles of roadways or Kenyan roadway networks that no longer or now at this point doesn't have any type of emergency management support. So that's the analogous to having 800 miles of road with no 911 service if there's a crash or an accident. Absolutely. So it's so important, especially with the remote and with the length of the road, that there's a lot of backing from the government of Kenya, other non-governmental organizations as far as the Africa Plan of 2030. So our partnership with Nurses in Hand is, again, the KWH coin is going to provide the energy services. There are going to be 40 containers that are going to house these triage units that are going to be strategically placed along this 800-mile stretch of road. And then we're going to provide the green energy. And then all of the vehicles are going to be green. This is going to be a completely green energy generation project. So, and KWH coin, again, is going to be a method of payment, and it's going to be paired with other acceptable payments on the application, including the M-Pesa and other digital forms of payment. So this takes us to another level as a company, because now we have an application that we are a part of that provides critical service, that's going to provide a critical service to Kenya. And our KWH coin is going to be a method of payment to access those services, paired with other digital currency or digital forms of payment in Kenya. So we're very excited about those two projects. Similar concept in Puerto Rico. I'm going to let Tony talk specifically about Puerto Rico, since we are here and since we are physically and structurally developing the energy generation, deployment, and distribution system. So I'm going to let him talk a little bit more about that, because he's the renewable energy expert. But thanks everyone for all the support. And please, any questions that anyone has, you can send them over to us or send them into our email.
Okay, so I guess, should I go on? Okay. Okay, thanks, Gerard, for that. So I would say, first of all, good afternoon, everybody. So good evening, depending where you are, or even good morning. So I don't know. So when we joined the project, basically as Renewables in Africa, because I'm the CEO of Renewables in Africa, clean energy engineering consultancy. So I would say we're actually eager to come into this point of the whole, let's say, partnership with KWHCoin, where we now start talking about delivering projects for people. So it's not just an idea on the white paper. It's about how do you translate that into physical, real solutions. So the trip here in Puerto Rico, it's a very, let's say, specific trip that we organized. We actually have 3 clear objectives. So the first one, first of all, sort of where we're going to be running the project, because KWHCoin, you know, with the help of Renewables in Africa, say that KWHCoin is become the largest renewable energy blockchain company. Yeah. In order for us to do that, obviously, we need to make sure that we have a solutions that is fit for purpose. So we're going to be running a pilot project, and the pilot consists of taking essentially 10 houses, a business, and a school at least, to run our solution and see how the whole solution works together. So we came with that idea in mind here in Puerto Rico. So what we have been able to do, it's actually as opposed to the thing, because you conceptualize a solution on the paper, but when you come on the ground, so you come across different, let's say, variable parameters that you didn't really account for before. So we decided to keep the story short, to go for 2 locations instead of just 1. So on 1 location, we're going to have 1 school, and opposite the school, we have a business and a couple of houses that we're going to take. That's the first location. And the second location is going to be a business with like a row of other houses. So altogether, when you combine the 2, we should still have at least our 10 houses, a business, and a school. So that's what we decided we're going to do. So we now have a precise location where we know we want to run it. So that's the first objective. So the second objective was for us to consolidate, let's say, our relationship with the authority of the local authority. Because obviously you can't go anywhere unless you get agreement from the mayor or the representatives or whoever obviously is an important person in that town. So we've been able to meet for the second time for me, first in Gerard and Dr. Allison. So we've been able to meet with the mayor and sort of consolidate the early conversation we had back in April, I believe, when I came around for the second time, and he's very extremely supportive. So we've been able to look at some map of the infrastructure around the area and see how we could progressively develop the project, which is the pilot, and then we want to expand it into the whole coverage with 23,000 people that could potentially become a KWHCoin customer. Obviously, that's what we are planning anyway. So the third objective, that was the second. The third objective is for us to connect with all the key stakeholders here. So that's one of the reasons we want to be going to the meeting that you mentioned about at 6 o'clock, because we're also aware of the fact that it's not just a case of stepping in and come and impose your solution to people. No, that's not the way. We want to engage with people, understand how things work in here, do it the way Puerto Rican like to do things, but make sure that we bring our innovation. So at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you can roll it out. So those are the three objectives that we wanted to achieve, and we actually on a good track. And we're hoping that by the time we wrap up this trip, which is going to be on Friday for Gerard and I, Dr. Allison is doing tomorrow, we can say that we are fully accomplished that. And obviously, we're planning to come back in Puerto Rico probably in the next month and a half to now start physically building the solution. But I've talked for a little bit, sorry for that. So I'm just going to go to
Hi, everyone. Dr. Alison Thompson from Third Wave Volunteers. Founded September 11th attacks in New York, 2001. I was a rescue worker, a volunteer worker down there. And what we learned was that everybody's needed. These disasters are getting so big, and it's not just medical and people helping out. It's everyone, hands on deck, step up, peel carrots, carry water, carry dead bodies, whatever. So we've grown over the years to a very large organization of volunteers, around 30,000 volunteers around the 5 continents. We've been in also every major disaster for the last 18 years. Haiti and Nepal earthquakes, 2004 tsunami. The last few years we've been in the Syrian crisis, giving these great solar lights because they smash into the shores and then they have to walk 37 miles up a steep hill with injured children and elderly. Then they have to go to a dark refugee camp. So these are these great little lights, and they give energy for about 8 to 12 hours at night, and they just charge in the sun. So that's what we've been doing there. And then with all the other hurricanes, with Texas, Florida, and Puerto Rico, same situation. We come in, we do actually early day rescue and that, and then we light up the night with these solar puffs. And it fills up a whole room, and these are really valuable, and they just we call it a box of hope, because it really just lights up these families' lives, and they get excited, they start to sing, and we've got light, we've got light. So this is on a smaller scale of what we'll be doing with what we are doing with KWHCoin, with the big microgrids and the bigger panels. But these still will come into play because there's 1.6 billion people in the world without light, and this is a real game changer, and it's getting away from fossil fuels, which kill 4 million people a year. So that's what we're doing, and this is like.
Yeah, no, but so I think that kind of gives an overview, Tyrika. So if anyone has any questions, especially, oh yeah, I do want to talk about what am I doing tomorrow. Tomorrow's the biggest day, for the company so far, right? We're going to be listed on our largest exchange yet, topbtc.com. So everyone, that link's going to be going out all over the place. I don't know, Tyrika, are you aware of what the exact time is of our exchange listing?
But we can get an updated time and have it across social media. I know that you can deposit 2 days early, so there have been people who were able to successfully deposit KWH coins in their top BC wallets, me being one of them. So everything is set, and
sorry, the other one was this sitting over here, but these are the real ones, and so they're really bright. And there's an emergency button. It just hangs up on their home, and it really fills up a whole room, and it fills a need here because there were millions without electricity, and there's still hundreds of thousands without it right now. So,
and I know they're very grateful for those. Yeah. I mean, even with it being the smallest bit of light, it's something. So I know that's brought a lot of hope to a lot of those areas out there. So very exciting news.
Yes.
We actually do.
BTC is our listing tomorrow, so our community has a lot to be proud of. Share it with friends, share it with relatives, share it with anybody, all in your social media. Again, 10% of everything that we generate goes toward building the physical infrastructure, partnering with the other solutions that are going to, with Dr. Thompson, with Third Wave. What we want to do is to provide an entire ecosystem for energy solutions. And that's multifaceted, many moving parts. But at KWHCoin, we want to be the platform that's a collaborator. So we're going to collaborate with many different organizations. And Dr. Allison Thompson and Third Wave have been so momentous and so tremendous in what we've been doing. We were here in March in Rio Grande, where we did 1,600, I think. And we were in Orocovas last night. They're going to be heading off very shortly to go to another mission. But we have a lot to be proud of and a lot to feel warm about because we're doing both. We're not only providing value for our token holders and our ecosystem, we're also impacting and will impact millions and billions of lives as we continue to scale out our platform to the world. So We should take the questions now. It's been a lot of monologue if there are any.
Okay, we do have, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can see.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time with my video and internet connection.
Looks
So
like you
I'm
moved.
sorry, Stevie.
Right. Look like us.
So we do have one question. The first question that we have is, if I own solar panels and I generate my own power, do I need to store the power until someone purchases it?
No, essentially what we serve is we track the value that you put into the export. For the person that has the solar panels, they have absolutely nothing to do. Our software system tracks their energy generation, it tracks their energy consumption, and the excess is what the value of the KWH coin is. So they don't have to worry about physically doing anything at all. Our blockchain stores and is the data and is the transparent, visible public ledger that secures and validates all of these transactions. Our digital wallet and the KWH coin is what accounts for their value. So as far as the storage and the multi-moving points, as far as hard physical wiring, our platform, the customer or the person who's holding the token, or in this case, the person with the solar panels, they have absolutely nothing to worry about. This is a very, I don't want to say, we want to remove the intensity away from the user having to do anything. All of the hard work is happening now, is in developing the ecosystem and building all the multiple moving parts. What the application is going to do is, in a plug and play setting, it's going to allow you literally just to click and all of these transactions are going to happen. So that's the beauty of the system, and that's the innovation in the technology, is it decarbonizes, and in some cases takes away a lot of stress for us in having to do some of these things. As our economy becomes more dynamic, as we interact with each other more, with phones now we have capabilities to do all types of transactions, all types of exchanges. What our platform allows you to do is, for your energy consumption, it gives you a platform for monetization. It shows exactly how much energy you're generating. And we're going to allow you to trade it localized so that you can keep that value in your local neighborhoods, which is the way systems should be designed anyway. Especially here, if you think of all of the export or the transferal of wealth that happens whenever energy generation, you have to pay for your energy generation. If you remove that, most of these countries are no longer third world countries. So it's some perspective to have as we build a renewable energy future.
Great, thank you. So we actually have another question from one of our attendees, and Joy would like to know, first off, they've said, hi, thanks for the presentation. Does KWH Coin have any other projects in Africa?
Yeah, oh, you guys. Yeah. Well, we're working on we're working on multi-projects, but we want to make, before we make formal announcements, we want to make sure that we have everything lined up so that we're not misrepresenting our impact and all of the, basically our role in the operation. But we do have, I've actually been invited to go to Uganda in August to speak with the president of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, the president of Tanzania, the president of Kenya, and other dignitaries about KWH Coin providing energy solutions for their off-grid and for their remote locations. So this is what our platform is evolving into, is we're now becoming an end-to-end service provider for energy solutions for the billions, as Dr. Thompson alluded to earlier, the 1.6 billion, but for really the addressable market is about 3 billion that don't really have reliable energy services, or they're dirty services. So yes, we're going to have the Great Green Wall Initiative is something that KWH Coin community members is something else that you should start reading about, because we have some very interesting proposals and things that we're meeting on with that huge project that's going to cover 1% of the Earth's livable surface. But yes, Africa, Sierra Leone now, Kenya are our two projects that we're solidified where our focus is going to be for the next 6 to 9 months. But we're going to scale for the entire continent.
Yeah, if I can just add to that very quickly. First of all, the Great Green Wall. So I would invite all the listeners obviously to Google it, to check it out. But in a nutshell, this is the flagship project that Africa is developing to fight against desertification and also climate change. So it's actually a great privilege to be involved into that. Now, coming back into the project, this is where the partnership with Renewables in Africa, my company, the company I represent, is actually also becoming active because obviously we're doing a number of projects in Africa, basically. So KWHCoin with the blockchain is adding another layer that can now come in on board. Because if you think about that, if you're building a solar farm, let's say in Mali, yeah, because people don't know a lot about Africa, yeah. So they just say, so Mali, that's a country that in West Africa, and you have some solar panel. So now on, you can already obviously log into KWHCoin and obviously list your project into the blockchains. Yeah, that's what Gerard is talking about when he say we want to collect the data, and by doing that, obviously you'll be able to earn some token. So that's a new revenue stream that you're doing. That's all. All you're doing is logging your data. We collect that, and you already have an additional revenue stream that you wouldn't have had obviously if you didn't do that. So that's one thing that people need to be aware of. Now, in terms of also the additional project, don't forget that in the early phase of the company have been connecting with a number of projects with the view to, let's say, to obviously impact invest into them. So we talked about a project like Comparison, which is Marcus Oil Place. And there's also a utility solar plant in Cameroon that we potentially are talking to at the moment. So those are additional projects. So actually project, I think there are a lot of them. But the thing is, we also want to make sure that we're taking things at the right level, the right rhythm, basically. Otherwise, we don't want to be overwhelmed as well. So yeah, we want to make sure that the money that investors are giving us is used properly.
And the next thing too about Africa, as we begin to scale and we begin to take on more end-to-end service profiles, is what we have to, like Tony was talking about earlier. Africa's population is going to double by 2040, and there are already energy generation needs. We want to take a forefront in that. We believe our solution is obviously renewable energy oriented, but with our network and our ecosystem, it provides a great platform for people that may not have had access to services before to easily integrate in. So we're very excited about the work that we're doing in Africa and the Caribbean. Those are the areas where we have our largest projects. And so those are the areas where we're going to have the most impact over the next 2 to 3 years.
I think Dr. Allison has to leave in a few minutes. Maybe you want to say 1 or 2 things.
Yes, Dr. Allison has to leave. So we want...
Just really excited to have this partnership because after being in this field for 20 years and running many charities, the old 501c3 model doesn't work anymore. So, begging for money, it just doesn't work. So we really need business minds to come aboard and direct us and really come up with a new model. So hopefully we are creating a new model, and I'm really excited about this partnership and finally getting a lot of help on a larger scale.
Absolutely. And we're glad to partner. So.
So, sorry, Donnie. Thank you.
Okay.
All the best.
Thank you.
We'll catch up tonight.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for that answer. So I guess we'll move on to our next question. These questions have come from our Telegram community, and let's see. When my solar power, I'm sorry, that should probably say that. When my solar panel generates power, how do I get paid?
Well, how you get tokens is, I guess, is probably the more effective way or appropriate way. How you get tokens is based on generation access. So let's say, for example, in a month, you use 60 kilowatt hours of electricity, but you generated 80 kilowatt hours of electricity. This then is when the KWH coin will account for your energy generation access, and your digital wallet will reward you with the KWH coin. So for the person that owns the solar panels, they're incentivized to be more energy efficient. They're incentivized to go through the maintenance process to make sure that their solar panels are operating efficiently. But now it gives visibility in our system, gives visibility to sustainable environmental behaviors as well, because sustainable behaviors now have a mechanism to be incentivized. So they would gain tokens, or they would get KWH coins based on their generation excess.
Okay, thank you. And another one, can one KWH coin always purchase 1 kilowatt hour energy?
All right, so let's clear that up now. The KWH is just how we denominate our currency. A kilowatt hour is just a very clear way to assign a value. So it's not necessarily paired to electricity generation around the world, because a kilowatt hour of electricity in Puerto Rico is 25 cents right now. That same kilowatt hour of electricity has a value of 11 cents in the US, about 36 cents in sub-Saharan Africa. So our system is designed to be flexible and placate to that decentralized market that we operate in. So just to be very clear, because most of this is going to be local, it's to incentivize local generation as well. So we're going to be operating within a community framework. So for example, I've heard people say, well, if I generate electricity in Poland, can I go sell it in Australia? Well, we can't really do that now because there are interplaying markets. What we want to do is provide an ecosystem that allows you to interact peer-to-peer. Where it provides most value is locally. Because I'll give you a classic example in California, where I live in San Jose. And sometimes peak times in the summer, we have to get power from Sacramento, which is about 2.5 hour drive, 100 some miles away. But if we had a decentralized system that would allow us, or that demand to be accessed at local peer level, look at the cost that was cut, look at the energy generation or the energy efficiency that increases. So this is why the KWH coin, when it comes to that pricing, it's going to be based on what the value of a kilowatt hour is in that area. So this is why we want to be careful when we say it's going to get a kilowatt hour as far as the pairing of a value in this place, that place, and that place, because it's not really designed for this. It's designed to be a conduit for local energy generation. And when we're about to see that, some of the questions are about to be answered, which are great questions from the community, the Telegram community, but they're going to be answered very clearly and specifically as we roll the projects out, especially in Puerto Rico, because now this is a Genesis project where we're literally building layers up. In Sierra Leone and IntelliFishing, we're going to be more of a payment solution that can expedite a manual process that's happening right now, which is great for us as a KWH coin community, but it's really another user case. Here in Puerto Rico, we're going to really be able to answer that question very specifically that the questionnaire alluded to, because we're going to see exactly how that model is going to work, because we are coming in where the pricing is going to essentially be based on some of the factors that we can actually play a role in.
Yeah, one thing I think, obviously, digressing a little bit, because you talked about Puerto Rico, one of the things that people have to really understand is the people of Puerto Rico, at least my experience, doing the trip on the island for the third time now, are very, very open to new solutions. Because as you can imagine, our area like Orocovis, so there's a great deal of families been without power for the last 8 months. Yeah, I've been talking, for example, to owner of a pizzeria. Yeah. So he owned his business for the last 40 years. And he been telling me that obviously the grid, so the power has come back only in the last 2 weeks, basically. So the whole time that's had to use generators. So you can imagine how much that costs, $15, $20 a day, even more in some area. It's not just the cost of the generator. You still need to physically drive your vehicle and go and purchase it. So that's another cost that you need to add into that, which is very, very obviously disturbing for these people. So they are very open to no solution. And and I guess KWHCoin with partners like Novos in Africa, Telegram Volunteers, that's what we want to work on and deliver those projects. And hopefully we should be able to do it. So that's what people should really see. I know, let me just tell you right now, there was early concern. People were saying that, what's the point of working with Telegram Volunteers? Well, listen, this guy, after the hurricane, they were the first effective responders. So I don't want to get into trouble, because obviously I'm not American, but I can say that basically, So I would say the federal response, what I heard on the ground list, was not good enough. That's what I'm saying. That's what I heard, right?
He's not American, so he gets a pass.
Yeah. And the people like Third-Wave Volunteers, basically, they were actually the first effective responders. So they've connected with the population. They strongly understand how people feel here and what people need. And by working with them, so that allow us to go faster and to be able to roll out. So don't forget that innovation it's not always easy to understand. So you also need to explain to people how you're doing. So by having valuable partner like Child Volunteers, this is how you get it done. And obviously, starting small by a product like that certainly helps. So basically, the contribution, the investment that KWHCoin has made in Child Volunteer wasn't like I say, pointless donation. Definitely not. Yes, it has been leading us where we are at the moment. So I just, once for all, cleared out for people that were asking that question. So yeah.
And I wanted to add one more thing too before I forget, because we spent so much time with him, and he was the mayor of Orcovas, because he really spent so much time with us, and also the police staff for Orcovas that literally escorted us around as we went to all of the proposed areas, the proposed sites, and they laid out literally the red carpet for us. So I want to thank the mayor of Orcovas and all the police staff and all of the local officials that have been here. They've been fantastic, tremendous, and all of the people in the mountains in Orcovas. They fed us last night, so thank you so much. But I just didn't want the AMA to go over without giving special thanks to them, because they, like he said, without the government, without the participation of local officials, without the local government, without the partnerships from Third Wave, without even the people, we met some just concerned citizens last night that wanted to meet with us later on to see how we can add value in with the university, partners up with the local university to get more people in the blockchain space and understand energy and blockchain. So just being here and being on the ground and connecting, it's been tremendous for us this time. We've made so many connections, and we were looking at sites and locations to set up our operational headquarters here for the project, and everyone has been so easy to work with and so tremendous. And
they want solution.
Absolutely, we're about the solution, and everyone wants a solution. So it's really giving us a large platform, a little bit more flexibility to, we're blockchain and cryptocurrency is something that's very new, but it's giving us more flexibility to take chances. So. I'm sorry, any more questions?
Okay, we do have another question here from one of our attendees. Does KWHCoin have any offices in Puerto Rico or East Africa?
That's why we're here now. We're working on launching the office here. We met with, I forgot, we met with like 2 other officials here that are part of the Chamber of Commerce and part of the business community and a part of the public policy. Because there's an Act 20 and Act 22 that really incentivize businesses to come in because Puerto Rico desperately needs relief, it desperately needs recovery. So it's giving entrepreneurs and social entrepreneurs particularly an opportunity in the platform to add new solutions. In East Africa, in Nairobi, we're going to be opening an office there in the next 60 to 90 days, because we're hoping to have nurses in. Here's another thing too, and I haven't updated the community. I think I tacitly updated the community when we had our last Medium article that was published about project development. But we want to be on the ground in Kenya by August. We definitely want to have everything launched here in Puerto Rico by August 1st. But we're going to probably be coming back to the island. Tony and our experts will be coming back in July just to begin the shoveling. But in Sierra Leone, that's going to be relatively fast because the infrastructure is already there. They already have 6,000. We already have 6,000 customers now that need a solution now. So that project is going to commence next month, or will be July, in July. But both Puerto Rico and Kenya, so yes, Nairobi, East Africa, we will be opening an office there in the next 60 to 90 days because they're going to be our headquarters for all of the logistics and the operations.
Good, that sounds great. Okay, we have one more question here. Could you explain what actual nodes are?
What a node is? Okay,
Yeah.
A node is someone that generates electricity on our network. So, or that has any type of generation data or has generation capability on our network. So in this case, if someone is engaged in energy efficient behaviors, that conservation of electricity is a net gain. So a node is not only someone, a big commercial facility is producing all these kilowatt hours or residential place. It could be electric vehicle, it could be energy storage. But just to be very clear, a node is any data point or any generation data that we have on our blockchain. And it's in the form of solar panels, it's in the form of EVs, it's in the form of wind, it's in the form of hydroelectric. So it really is any type of distributed energy resource. But we like to call it nodes just because they're all on the blockchain. And the nodes are really what verifies the transactions in most cryptocurrency and in most blockchain projects. So we call our nodes our renewable energy generation assets.
So blockchain and cryptocurrency is the node industry.
Yeah.
And like any node industry, so you will have the jargon that goes with that. So it's just one of the word that the jargon use, but I guess, well,
I kind of like it. Seems kind of cool. Makes it seem futuristic. Nodes.
Yeah.
Thinking outside the box. Okay, and I know we've kind of already addressed the token versus, the energy generation and turning into the token. But this one question we have, will the price of the energy be determined by the current value of KWHCoin on the exchange? And I know you said you guys will probably unfold these types of questions later on, but
yeah, but no, energy is going to be based on demand within that locality. So whatever market demand for energy generation is, and that's what the price of energy generation is going to be based on. But we're essentially data receptors. We determine value. We don't determine price. We determine our customers' value. We have zero price rendering mechanisms. We just give you the value for your energy generation. So I think articulating it that way helps our community better understand. We assign value. You just say, hey, you generated this much, my friend. Now we're building an application that's going to unlock the value and most importantly, allow you to interact that peer-to-peer and trade locally to build a new type of energy generation and distribution platform with the internet. Not disrupting the old, expanding on the existing to add more value and to include more people into electricity generation.
So if I can just add one more thing, I think I hear why people can be a bit confused. So basically, when you generate excess of energy that is tokenized on the KWHCoin platform, basically, so that token, as Gerard mentioned, is actually determined. The price is determined by supply and demand. That's it. Now, if you want to participate in the trade token, you need purchase water token. I think you can't do that with your dollar or with your pound, whatever. So you have to actually purchase a KWHCoin, which is actually the currency that allow you to actually interact into this market. And the price of the KWHCoin is actually determined by the exchange. That's what Gerard was so enthusiastic about the exchange. So the one top BTC. Mm-hmm. So you have to convert your dollar money into KWHCoin and use that now to participate into the trade that's happening on the KWHCoin platform. And there you can purchase a token that is based on actually on supply and demand markets. I guess hopefully that gives better clarity on people.
Yeah. See, our role is just giving you what your value of energy generation is. This is your value. This is what you generated based on what the market says. And the KWH, the kilowatt hour, just is a very clear designee of what value generation.
Right. Okay.
We probably should have said that in the microphone just like that.
Well, I think it's and we're evolving, we progress.
Absolutely. But yeah, I love the questions from the community too, though. Yeah. So hit us with the hard ones, man. I'm thinking we're in Puerto Rico now, so we've been out in the mountains. We've been away from civilization, away from Wi-Fi. I kissed the ground when we got back here to San Juan, so we're in a great place.
Well, that's good to hear. And I think we have time for one last question from our Telegram community. How do I purchase energy from someone, and how do I pay for it?
All right, so this is going, the application that we're building is going to provide those capabilities. So I think Rika and the marketing team posted some of the initial beta versions of the application, but that's why we're building this application, is to provide those capabilities. And we're setting it up, and we're actually going to ask the community now, because we're done with the back end. We've developed the digital wallets. We developed the architecture as far as what's going to be needed to house the protocol. Also, we've physically completed a peer-to-peer transaction on our blockchain. So we've completed all of the fundamental things. As far as the user interface, which is going to be how do we exchange energy? What does that look like? in an app setting. We're going to start probably in the next month sending out the community to you guys to ask us what should that look like and what's most user friendly, because we can sit down and talk about what it's going to look like and write it out. But remember, we're going to be doing this on an application. And in our cases, we're going to be in the cases of in Africa, it's going to need to be user friendly. And so we're going to try to be as sensitive to that as possible. So we're going to ask for a lot of feedback when we get to that from the community, because the aesthetic and what we have the architecture as far as what it's going to look like, that energy transaction. But now we want to make it as easy as possible so no one has to ask these questions, so you won't even see it.
Right. And I think the community will do a great job of giving us feedback on the most user-friendly suggestions. So thank you for clearing all of that up. And I think those were some pretty great questions.
Thanks.
Do you have any other remarks or closing that you want to add? I'm
just excited. It's a big week for us. We're going to top BTC. That's a huge exchange. We're doing well on BitFX. So everyone now that wants
we're still in phase 4 for the Crypto Dash voting exchange also. So
right, and the partnerships that we're building out here on the ground, as far as getting more nodes on our blockchain, as far as getting more energy projects where we're going to provide energy services, which again, the reason why the KWHCoin as a company, why we're such a unique value proposition, is we're becoming an energy services provider on top of being a cryptocurrency that enables easy payment solutions and gives you value for your energy generation. We've expanded now to provide energy infrastructure services in Puerto Rico and Africa. So that is the big thing that the community should come away with, is that KWHCoin should be in the talks of all major cryptocurrency, all major altcoins. Is a very unique value proposition, because our project is where probably 1% of the projects are. We have adoptability in an ecosystem that has value, where there are actual transactions of value happening. And not many projects, I can count on 2 fingers, on 2 hands, the projects can actually say that they have an ecosystem that can do that today. Everything else is a hypothetical extrapolation over something that may happen in the world as it continues to evolve. We have user profiles and impacts, customer profiles today that we can show, and we love to show, and we're trying to show through all our social media. So that's what I want to leave everyone with. The KWHCoin is probably the most undervalued cryptocurrency. It has to be in the world, right? If you understand value, where else can you get renewable energy generation or the value of the sun and a coin? So that's what I'll leave everyone with.
And I think one last word for me is as I said at the beginning, so for us renewables in Africa, we are very excited because we now finally getting to the point where we start working on the delivery of those solutions. Yeah, so we've conceptualized solutions. So we thought about that, days, night, put on paper, having tough discussions with partners. But now we're getting to the point that we, start putting all the different parameters together, variable, and to create a solution and moving forward. So we are extremely happy to get to this point. And by no means, don't consider that it was, we're not taking it for granted, because actually we have had to work really hard, very smart to deliver that. It was very, very tiny. Don't forget that this is still a new company that was formed with no innovations. So when we go to Africa, we're also relatively new, I would say. So yes, to take the project to this point has taken a lot of time, a lot of effort. I know nothing has been perfect, but like what I'm saying is, for the community, for all the investors, all the people, we actually want you to help us, because at the end of the day, don't forget, we are doing it for people like that in Puerto Rico. People in Puerto Rico, people in different African country or the Caribbean, we are doing that for them. So that I want people to understand that. Yeah, obviously it's a business. We need to make some, let's say, comfortable margin to make it sustainable. But the real difference is going to be felt by those people. So yeah, we're happy to be criticized, but it's more interesting if you come on board and help us doing it even faster and better way. But we're extremely happy, and we believe that we have an innovative solution. Renewables in Africa, KWHCoin.
And that's our model. Like if you're going to be a company that succeeds, you need to be very comfortable making a lot of mistakes. I know everybody in the office and there, we do that quite well. We make a lot of mistakes, but the point is that we make mistakes so that we can modify. And now we've developed what our model is. We clearly know what we are, and we're ready to tell that to the world. We're ready to take on more partners, and we're very excited about what we're doing. And the community should be very excited. We're excited about the community and all of the people who've been helping. Special shout out to Nick. You guys have been tremendous. I know I don't get to interact that much. It seems like I'm on a plane.
You gotta say hello to my mom now, my dad.
Or on a mountain. So my communication isn't as sometimes as fluid as I would like. But I just want to thank everyone for all the work with KWHCoin. This is going to be a big week for us, and so we look forward to talking to everybody.
Yes, thank you for the support.
We did have one more question that slid in right at the end. If you guys don't mind answer.
Sure.
Let someone know if there are plans to work on projects in Europe.
Oh, okay, interesting.
In Europe, yeah. You know, right now our reference, you know, our model best fits because we do energy solutions for areas that can't get access, but Europe is, in general, so much more open to renewable energy. So some of our biggest supporters, as far as just people that encourage me, a lot of my personal biggest supporters, my personal best friends are from the European market. So they're trying to get us opportunities there. So we'll see.
And don't forget that renewables in Africa, we incorporated in London. So which is in Europe.
Yeah.
Even if we have. But so it means that obviously we have let's say our market that we have chosen, but it's not to say that we are completely let's say closed to all the other opportunities. So if there is any good opportunity, we certainly will be open to that. So yeah, by no means we have an open door policy. Come and talk to us if your project fits our model. So why not? And like I say, nothing is stopping you. We have solar panel in Europe already to have it listed into the KWHCoin blockchain. And like I said, earning some token, that's giving you additional revenue stream. You can absolutely do that. So thank you again. So it was a pleasure.
All right, guys. Well, we're about to head off to what is this thing called? Something crypto something in San Juan.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing a Facebook Live from it. So wherever it is, you're going to see it very shortly if you're following us, because we're going to do a couple of Facebook Live.
Yeah, but
and we got to get a shot of the beach here, though.
Yeah.
So we've been in the mountains, so we're a little bit cabin fever.
We're excited.
So I'm sorry for not shaving, but I left all of my credentials in
I know
San.
y'all
Don't kill us too bad on social media, but love everyone, and we'll talk to everyone soon.
And thank you very much for your support. We really appreciate that.
Right,
have
guys.
a great day.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys.